on user acquisition and focus on core platform development. We weren't quite there. We were about 95% there, and I think today we're 99% there. So there's still a few features which we're working on, but we've come a long way. And so the last 6 months, let's say, have been really heavy on just product development, iteration, and obviously what comes after that is user acquisition, and that's kind of the stage we're at now. And we wanted to do that in a big fun way, and I think the Trading Olympics is that. So we've invested a lot, obviously, into this design, branding. I think the UI looks really cool, and it's just fun to use, and it's just a fun event for everyone, newcomers to IntentX and people who've used the platform before can really enjoy it. So yeah, we have some big prizes. Obviously, we're hoping to attract users of a variety of types. So we have like for small traders the P&L %, for big traders the P&L dollar. And I think this kind of sets the stage for the next year for us, which is going to be really focused on driving users to the platform and actually building volumes, building revenues, building OI, and scaling from there. So I guess this is the transition point from year one of our existence, which was foundational work, to now year two, which is a little bit more growth oriented.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been building hard, and I think now is the time that we're at a stage of our platform where it's like let's show the world what we have. And I mean I've always enjoyed trading on IntentX, but we can all be honest that it's definitely gotten a lot better since a couple of months ago, and mostly thanks to obviously Sim and also our own team for developing the actual front side things. So Lafa, I don't know if you finished your snack, if you're ready to start talking.
Yeah.
You're
yeah,
good. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, SYMMIO is co-hosting this campaign with us and contributing a lot of tokens. So 5 million. SYMMIO is also part of the reward pool. Could you share a little bit more about what SYMMIO obviously hopes to achieve through its involvement, and why you guys decided to be involved?
Yeah. So basically, what I wanted to talk about, adding there, obviously, what Levi already said, but I think it's very important to understand that SYMMIO and also IntentX, right? We have said no to a lot of things, and actually SYMMIO and its earlier iterations, I think we could have gone for a few quick wins, but we actually decided to build something that you can basically scale unlimited, right? And in the beginning we had one solver, and therefore there was a lot of problems, right? But we designed the system in a way that there could be many solvers. And now that we have two and the third one in scaling, right, you can already see the effects. When in the beginning, when one solver was down, whole system was down. And this is actually something that other platforms, they didn't prioritize, right? Other off-chain based order book systems, they can go down, and they have actually scheduled maintenances and also unscheduled maintenances very often, right? While in SYMMIO, we wanted to have 100% liveness, right? So we actually said no to the easy path. The easy path would have been we just have one solver. We actually don't tell anyone about the solver, right? It's just a centralized system, and we trade against that one solver. But we didn't want to do that. And because we didn't want to do this, everything takes longer, right? Because we didn't choose the easy path, things are taking longer. Now we have two solvers. They both need to upgrade to a system upgrade. Then we have three solvers. Obviously, should be way less updates down the road. As soon as the system is in a very stable place, we don't need to update it once a month for how we did it in this year 4 times, right? Actually, we want to have maybe one major update a year, similar to what Ethereum does. And that update is obviously year-long planning where solvers can upgrade their own system. And because we didn't choose that easy path, things are sometimes taking longer, but I think it's worth it. And it will exactly at this time, right? Maybe 1 or 2 more weeks. You're working on the last final touches, then we're really in a place where it is 100% liveness, multiple solvers, automated instant trading, everything comes into place. And that's why we said, okay, we're going to start this points program. We're also going to give a lot of sim to front ends like IntentX to exactly mark that time, right? And I think it's a big success so far. Definitely worth it. And looking forward to the next 12 weeks.
Yeah, it's obviously a very long campaign, and so far everything's been so good. So obviously yesterday we saw close to 100 million volume day, and I hope that's the start of what obviously the next 12 weeks are going to be looking like. It's definitely, you know, SYMMIO has been building a lot, and obviously we can dig a little bit later into the more of the point program and sort of the future for SYMMIO. For now, Levi, I want to get back to you and sort of dive into why we actually went for a trading competition rather than what we did before with the incentives, because I think that's, you know, important for people to understand why we actually did this and didn't go another way. Obviously, this is in collaboration with Mental as well, and we're using a part of our Mental grant for this.
Yeah, we actually initially sort of pegged this mantle supply to doing a volume-based campaign similar to what we've done in the past. And I think what we've seen is, one, the perp market has fundamentally changed from where it was in the spring. So there was at the time, there were a lot of new perp dexes. It was kind of like this Cambrian explosion, and everyone was running a airdrop campaign. And so there was a lot of competition in the market to actually just attract users, because there were platforms, paying money to their users to come to their platform. Also, this coincided with large optimism grants, large arbitrum grants, etc. So we had a tough time kind of like pulling in users, and we had to play the game a little bit on the volume incentivization side. But the market's changed now, right? Most of these perp dexes, their TGE is behind them. They don't really have much new stimulus coming, and I think we builders have to be a little bit smarter about how we use incentives. And right now is just a really good time to actually reward genuine traders and not just volume farmers. So that's what this campaign is geared towards, and that's why we've done it through P&L, because we want to spotlight IntentX as a platform for real traders to come and trade at, and we hope that they're rewarded during this period. And even if they don't win the competition, they can at least try our platform, and hopefully, we can keep that user even after it concludes. So far, it's going quite well, and I think we would love to do another competition maybe next year or in the future. So let's see how this one pans out.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, just to give a little bit more, I think I'll just spend a little bit of time to really outline the Trading Olympics. Obviously, everybody hopefully has read the Medium article. If you haven't, definitely go ahead and read it. It's full of information on how exactly the competition runs, how long it runs, and more information on how exactly rewards are distributed. So the main thing that Levi said in the beginning as well is that this, our goal with this has always been to attract every kind of trader, and obviously now in the first 4 weeks of P&L%, that's what we're doing. So due to the infrastructure of IntentX, what we're running is the P&L% competition, which essentially how it works, and most people have found this out already, is it's just a cumulative sum of your P&L ROI during the competition. And another important thing to highlight is that if you have your positions open, like during Epoch 1, for example, but you don't close it in Epoch 1, every position will be freezed at the end of Epoch 1, and P&L percent will be added to Epoch 1 and not to Epoch 2. So it's, essentially we want people to just be trading like usual, but that's just a little nit that is also said in the announcement as well. And obviously the main thing here, and that everybody has probably seen that in the reward structure, is that for P&L%, we're essentially giving 100,000 INTX now, or 100,000 MMT now. We're giving, how much is it? 75,000 IntentX and obviously also a lot of like 250,000 SIM, and that's all per week. So 25k per week, 15k and 250k. And the main thing that we're going for here is obviously the P&L value, where the variety of all the rewards are going to be given out. And I think especially judging on incentives like Levi just talked about, it's a lot of perp dexes are going for the volume stuff, and we just wanted to do something fun. And I guess that's what the Trading Olympics is. We've spent all of the summer working on the branding for it, which I think looks absolutely amazing, and just making it a fun and rewarding experience. And obviously everybody has hopefully seen the bonus medals as well. It's an additional layer of fun, so even if you're not the best trader and you end up losing everything, you can still win the liquidation medal along with 4 other medals. So yeah, I mean, Livy, why from your side did we decide to partner with SYMMIO on the Trading Olympics? Obviously Lafa mentioned his side, but why did we go for it?
Yeah, I think we wanted to expand, our horizon. We're obviously under the sim ecosystem, and together we're more powerful than we are alone. And yeah, it was just a good fit in terms of like Sims timing. Obviously, they're building some attention and building towards kind of a TGE, which is kind of highly anticipated, let's say. So I think this is a good event to kind of cap that off. Obviously, there's the points also, which Lafa can describe more on, but I think it was just the right time. And obviously, Sim also wants to showcase their technology alongside of us. And I think it's a really natural kind of incentive campaign based on all the work that we've done together so far.
Yeah, touching on technology, Lafa, can you maybe describe a little bit more about what traders can expect in regards to their trading experience now compared to before?
Sure. Obviously, under the circumstances, we are repeating ourselves. I think we're talking about it for a long time. But yeah, the difference now to let's say 3-6 months ago is that we have now 2 fully maxed out solvers, right? I think you had 100 million available OI this morning, and I'm pretty sure it will go up over the next days. Both solvers will increase from what I heard. That means we now have 2 operational solvers. If one is offline, you can still take trades with the other one. Then we're also having the settle UPNL feature. This was extremely painful. It led to not having it, right? Led to sometimes stop losses not being able to be triggered. And the issue itself was actually more like a technical one, right? It wasn't possible to let some balances of users go negative. So what the system did instead was like not letting the user be able to close his trade because he was in a loss and he couldn't pay the other side. Now that is finally being fixed, I'm sure you guys will implement it pretty quickly and solvers. Then we have, so this should probably eliminate 99% of all stop loss issues that existed. So we have the forced close, which is currently was currently paused due to settling QPNL because it could have been used by users to basically punish the solver. In our system, because it's kind of decentralized, right? We didn't, as I said in my earlier remarks, we said no to a centralized system, right? We chose decentralization. It's actually it's a big topic in our organization. Every time we bring something up, then it's by a lot of people in our organization being weighed against what value are we actually bringing to the table, right? If we're just a Binance completely centralized that masks itself as a decentralized protocol, right? I mean, the only value we're actually bringing to the table at that point is that we are kind of like circumventing KYC, which is not what we want, right? We want to actually build a decentralized system. And that's why we said no to all of these aspects that could lead to centralization. And therefore, we always have like a big issue to balance what power can we give a user, right? In terms of force close or other actions to punish solvers, but it has to be balanced. And currently, without the settle UPNL, it was not balanced. So force close had to be paused. With settle UPNL, it will be balanced. And at this point, we can actually see if a solver is offline, right? And therefore the user should be able to force close its position. It's something that initially was kind of like copied from Ethereum's design, right? Ethereum's layer 2, they work in a way that even if the layer 2 is offline, you can still take out your Ethereum. This is something that no other exchange offers, right? If they're down, right? You cannot close your trades. Also, on the side, if there's something happening on your side, maybe for some reason IntentX, right, as a front end doesn't work. We always wanted a system where users will always be able to close their trades. Recently released, like on our docs, a description how you can do it. It's obviously a little bit complex. There will be easier solutions in the future, but yeah, I think this is what you can expect from Sim, right? Is a really decentralized perfect exchange, not like a semi-decentralized one. And I think now we also have the UX in a place where we're actually competing. As soon as we have those last features being added, which you will do in a few days or 2 weeks or something. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
on the tech side.
Yeah. Lev, is there anything you want to add to that, or?
Yeah, I guess I can add IntentX's side. We've worked on a bunch of stuff last few months. Off the top of my head, our exhaustive list, but we launched Market Screener, the social leaderboard, which is actually now integrated into the Trading Olympics. Probably you guys have seen that you can actually connect your Twitter profile and kind of like rep your account. You can also subscribe to other traders to follow their trades. If you guys haven't checked out those functions, I think they're really cool and just bring a little bit of social element to the overall exchange. So that was a big one, and future stuff that we'll be doing on the platform is going to tie back into that. So I think that was really foundational. Then we deployed an Arbitrum recently, which we haven't marketed too hard, but I think Arbitrum is a great chain, so it's nice to be there and offer everything we have. We released Instant Close, and what's next is the Instant Open. That's kind of what Lafa was referring to at the end there. We're at a very, very advanced state with that, and there's a few UX things that we are just polishing up right now, but expect within a week or two that you'll have Instant Open, and I think that'll serve the Trading Olympics really well. That'll be pretty exciting for users, and also it opens up new methods of trading the platform. Like you can scalp lower time frames, you can do different trading strategies. Everything will be just a little bit more responsive. So we're pretty excited for that. Yeah, and then a few other things we're working on. I don't know. Do you want me, Renz, to go into what we're working on, or do you have more to cover?
Yeah, we'll cover a little bit more than later. We'll discuss a little bit about the future vision for both IntentX and Sim. I mean, Lafa, let's just get into the deets, right? Let's talk a little bit about the points program. Can you, obviously you just released it last week, which was very nice for most IntentX traders since they found out that they actually have been earning points for quite some time. Can you tell a little bit more about how the points program is structured, why you decided to do it in stealth first, and what's to come?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, points in their current form, how they exist in crypto, are totally overgamed, right? Everyone is just doing something because they expect something in return. And what that creates is always, people are basically anticipating something and then they're getting disappointed. I think there was very little airdrops from big names, right? That were really satisfactory in the last year. And that's why we said,
Except IntentX, right?
I think IntentX did pretty well. I'm more like referring to, I don't know. For you, it was for IntentX, it was actually always clear what you're getting, right? I mean, more like Brawl, Layer 0, Eigenlayer, everything, right? So people have been very disappointed, and that was already the case in August. People were already disappointed by points, so we thought, okay, we wanna incentivize people, but it should be as stealth as possible. So we basically made a short, quick announcement in June, and that was it basically. We also didn't answer any questions surrounding it. I think a few people realized it, but yeah, it was, from what I can see from the data we checked, and everything looked 100% organic. So that's what we wanted to do. Now we came out of stealth together with your trading competition, with trading Olympics, and that was like kind of the plan for all the time to come out of stealth a few months before TGE, and then give big rewards to not only to trading volume, right? Because that is super easy to be gained, but also to, just token holdings. So in this season, we will give a lot of points and a lot of weight to people just holding or staking IntentX and other ecosystems tokens, and also to reward PNL or UPNL. We will not go into detail exactly how we weigh the points. Soon there will be like a web page, and there will be kind of like bi-weekly updates on your points, but it will not be listed like how you exactly earned them and so on and so forth. Yeah, but the weight is kind of not on volume, right? That's for sure, and it's more on UPNL and token holdings. Something that is harder to gain, right? Like, or maybe impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect it. I mean, you're definitely right on saying that airdrops haven't been too satisfactory. Obviously, every single airdrop besides IntentX. I still think, I mean, obviously, I might be a little bit biased, but I still think we ended up doing pretty well compared to some of the other things that came out later. But yeah, I think overall the points program, the way you structure it, is it's very natural, and it's how most points programs probably should be. So I did see a question from Ace that I wanted to ask just while he's still here. He asked about the SIM token utility. Do you have some more information on that? Will it be similar to how we structure IntentX, or what's it looking like?
No, I think you're trying to achieve with your token to either incentivize users and also like incentivize buyers to hold it. Right? For SIM, our utility will be mainly focused on builders, right? Like we as SIM, we are like more like a builders-oriented platform. So our token, you could compare it kind of like, what we would want to have is something like a curve war type of economic, obviously totally different, but very similar, where you have protocols buying and locking the token to then build a DEX on top. Maybe not a perp DEX, will be hard to compete with IntentX, but something else, right? Maybe an options DEX, maybe something for ETFs or real estate, whatever, right? I released a list today. There will be a lot of builders buying SIM, locking it in order to get the fee rebates, and it will be different for all types of products that you can build on top. So that's kind of what we're anticipating for utility. And obviously, there will also be staking based on the fees that are earned. But it will not be like IntentX. Yeah, a little bit simpler without locking. When we have the locking on the front end side, and I guess we don't need the locking for the staking. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then we're currently. I mean, there could be multiple versions of Sim, right? And there is also a version that is trying to be Oracle-less, 100%, and that version could maybe require SIM tokens locked by the operator. That could be slashed, right? So similar to what you can see with Ethereum validators. And then solvers, there's also an idea, right, for solvers to lock some SIM and have some slashing. For another version, right? In the current version, we don't need it. It was meant to be like that, but there's another idea where solvers would require slashing.
So the sim wars are coming.
Yeah, I mean, if we have solvers, validators, and front ends, right, and exchanges, then there will not be a lot of sim remaining to stake. Yeah, that's kind of like
That's the point.
idea.
That's pretty bullish. Well, thank you very much, sir. That definitely hope that answers A's question. He just left, but he seemed happy. Yeah, I mean, let's dive a little bit now into the sort of the future vision for both, right? Like, obviously, I think we've done well explaining what has happened in the last couple of months leading up to the Training Olympics, and obviously the Training Olympics itself and how things are structured. But what happens after? Levy, let's start with IntentX. Like, obviously, like you just talked about, we've been extremely busy and shipping a lot of things. But what's next to ship? I think there's definitely a couple of things that we can talk about. So go for it.
Yeah, definitely. So our focus is really on the perp side. Like Lafa said, I think we really want to be a dominant player, not only on top of Sim, but also just generally within perps. Like we want to be a top 10 perp dex and ultimately top 1. So that's where we're, building and gearing towards. So everything we're doing is kind of going to be focused on that narrow window, whether it's like core trading functionalities or other stuff we're building on top. It's more to complement what we have already. So there's still quite a bit of like, I think right now we have a pretty good product, but to get it to an exceptional state, there's still work to be done. So the first immediate one is the instant open, which we talked about. So that should be out within a week or two. Next, we just met with our solver who's offering Bybit pairs. They're scaling up and now working to get all of the Bybit pairs on IntentX sort of by the end of the month. So let's say by December, we'll have the third solver running at some decent level of scale and also bringing, I think Bybit has like 200 additional pairs that Binance doesn't have. So that'll bring our total pair count from 300 to 500. And I think that's also a really cool moment for the platform because not only will we then, have all the offerings of like the top exchange, but we'll have more than even what Binance can provide or Bybit on their own, which is pretty big. And I think nobody's really achieved that. So that's a big one. We're working with a third-party solver, obviously, on. Then looking out towards kind of Q1 next year, we have a few things in the works. One is IntentX USD distributions. So yes, we are working on a system to enable USD rewards to users. Obviously, there's two things that are very important to us. One is the trading platform itself, because that's where the value comes from. And that's what we've kind of been focused on the last 6 months. And then the other thing that's really important to us is the IntentX token, because that aligns everybody. And obviously we want to maximize like the value that we create. So now that we see some bigger volume days coming through, our revenue is growing. Now we can think about how do we use this in the best possible way. So that's going to be a dynamic buyback and distribute system. meaning, when the price is below a certain target, we'll do buybacks when it's, economically impactful. And then when the price is above that, we'll do USD distributions so that we're not dissipating value, and, holders can kind of get the best of both worlds for accumulating, increasing their INTX stack when the price is low, but also getting, the USD distributions. So we're going to keep it fairly simple. Our tokenomics are already, a bit complicated. That's the gist of it. Then on the actual trading side, we're working on, first of all, account-based stop loss. So this is going to be, because the accounts are in cross margin, it's quite difficult to manage stop losses sometimes. And one of the things that we're going to be rolling out fairly soon, hopefully within a month or two, is an account-based stop loss. So we'll measure, your account-wide leverage and liquidation point and try to close out all your positions. It's kind of like an auto deleveraging system, and that'll protect your CVA from liquidation. So I think that's like a really good proprietary solution on top of SIM that'll just help our users. Another one, and this is a fairly big one as far as what people have requested, is isolated positions. So this is another proprietary solution that we're building on top of SIM. Now we have a prototype, but it still requires a bit more development time. And that'll essentially enable you to open positions as you already are in cross margin, but you can also then open isolated positions if you want to isolate your risk. And I know a lot of users do want that feature, so it's something that's coming. And then we also have an instant withdrawal bridge we're working on. So low value accounts will be able to withdraw their funds instantly rather than wait the whole 12 hours or some mix of that. That's a bit of friction that we have that could be improved. So we're working on that as well. Then we still have some secret stuff in the works beyond that. Can't announce quite yet, but yeah, 2021 or 2025 rather is really going to be a lot of like platform refinement. Now that we got the core stuff out of the way, now let's build on top of it and just make it all that much better. Another thing I can mention is advanced order types. That's in the pipeline as well. So we could do like TWAP orders, BWAP orders, stop limit orders, etc. So we'll add a lot more customization to the order types.
I just hear bullish, bullish, bullish. I mean, I know we all want to be back in 2021. Maybe that's why you said 2021, because back when DeFi was actually worth something and
Forever
not just
stuck.
memes.
Forever stuck in DeFi summer.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
I
We're gonna make DeFi great again.
I mean, let's see how the elections turn out today. Who knows what happens? But yeah, I mean, I think one of the bullish, how do you even say that word? The most bullish point there is, I think, the Bybit solver, and I mean, obviously everything else is super bullish as well. But I think it's just a big step, like you mentioned, for IntentX itself, and then just in general. If we actually do have 500 plus pairs available on IntentX, and that's just with 2 of the top tier ones, then that it just shows what the future is going to look like for IntentX. Obviously, we can the singularity, like Lafa always calls it, it's coming, and it will take some time, but it shows where IntentX can actually be in the future, and as we build on top of all of the systems that we currently have, and obviously what we can now do once we have like this foundational level done. I think it's a very bright future, and I personally love trading on IntentX myself, and I hope everybody here does, and that's why they're here. But Lafa, from your side, like obviously Levi talked a little bit more about the IntentX segment of things, and what is next on the roadmap for SYMMIO. Obviously, you posted that tweet with all of the different options and things that can be built using SYMMIO. Like what's on your pipeline next to TG, of course.
Yeah, I think what SYMMIO really wants, or like the why behind SYMMIO, is that we really want to empower financial geniuses, right, to come up with a lot of stuff themselves. And my job, or what I'm doing mostly in Sim, is talking with people, trying to get them to understand the vision, and then build stuff on top of Sim. Right? Obviously, not all of this is maybe suited for IntentX, but you can tap into all of these products that are being built. And to only mention a few, so we have one solver, and this is basically Rasa, right? We have Rasa working on basically offering smaller accounts with zero spreads trades. That is one thing, right? And then actually be exposed. So instead of everything is hedged, right? For the big traders, we are now working on a solver that would not be hedged. And there could also be something like community vault, right? And then you're trading against the traders basically. And therefore, on a smaller scale, there's no spread. Obviously, therefore, maybe funding is higher, but you will have a bigger variety to choose from. If you're really interested in having zero spread, right? For some reason, that's your desire, then we could offer it. Then, of course, there's options, a lot of different type of options, but we're working on just providing Binance and Deribit options. There's a team for that. And then on top of that is a separate team, but these solvers are working on more DEX-suited products. It's probably not something that IntentX will be interested in, but maybe all your service front ends, which are DEXs, could use it, which basically enables users to provide single-sided liquidity, right? I'm personally, and I was an investor and banker, which had like this dream of single-sided liquidity, but in reality, it was always a dream. No one could solve it. I think Sim is in a unique position to solve it because we can offer structured products, right, that can have any type of complexity. And my thesis is that you cannot solve passive liquidity provision because liquidity provision is not passive, right? So you need to actively manage it because the market is also active. There is no one fit solution to everything, right? So passive liquidity provision somehow doesn't work. And I think with SYMMIO, we can add that managed or active part, right? They're just buying a position in SIM that is actively managed and hedges your LP. That is something that is being worked on. And then also something that I think could be super interesting for IntentX will be like a low cap meme coin solver, right? This is now like also again totally different team. They are it's actually two teams that merged. There's one guy who is like super successful just meme coin trader. He was like among the first to market make Pepe below 100 million market cap. And then I brought together with another party who was working at maybe top 5, top 10 token market maker in crypto. And they are working now on a system to basically to offer a solver on low caps, right? Not only memes, could be anything, but this system will basically enables the solver to take in tokens and then provide perps via SIM on that, and then hedge on spot DEXs, which I think is a first. No one else can offer it.
I'm super excited about that.
All other, I'm personally also super excited about it. Like I'm super actively supporting them how I can. I think they already built the whole DEX system. They're now connecting to SIM. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, there have been.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, there's been so many meme coins that reached out to me like, oh, how can we get listed on IntentX? And obviously, for now, I have to tell them, well, you have to either be on Binance or Bybit. But I definitely feel, especially with this whole meme coin super cycle, that people are yearning to go leverage on some of these meme coins that aren't available anywhere easily. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. Super excited about that part and think it will be great for new user base.
Yeah, I'm writing something right now that I wanna. It's like a blog post of myself, right? That I want to post on Twitter, but I can already give a little bit of what I want to say there. It's basically, I think we as an exchange, right? Our our business, or like as a protocol, your exchange rate, as our business is to list as much as possible. If I look back, my own trading career, right, back in 2017 or 16, it was very tough back then to figure out where your coin is listed or getting your coin listed. Right? There was no dexes. Now we have like infinite listings everywhere, but in reality, it's like the attention that has become like, it's very hard to actually find that coin, right? That you want, that is a good trade. Before it was like hard to find how to trade a coin. I think what we can do with that solver and how you mentioned it, right? We can actually create a funnel where we can get those best memes as perps way before they come to Binance or Bybit and other DEX in other exchanges, right? It will not be possible to trade those low liquidity pairs elsewhere.
Even better for us.
Yeah, I think the gatekeeping from centralized exchanges is, destined to end. So we're in like the final stages of it, as far as I see. At least in terms of gatekeeping, like what tokens are listed and what tokens matter, and extracting as much value as they can from those token listings. I think the democratization of token listings is a big part of why Uniswap was a success, and Pump Fund, similarly with the meme coins, and yeah, it'd be great to enable something like that for perp side.
So we aren't gonna charge insane listing fees. It's a shame.
No, it should, in my opinion, it should be permissionless, but there should be, and that's what I meant with fun, right? There needs to be like actually community around.
Yeah, I mean, it can just be community centered, right? Like, which meme coin do you want to be listed?
Yeah.
As long as their appetite, and we can support it. Awesome. All right. If anybody has any questions that they want to ask, either feel free to raise your hand and you can ask them on the stage, or just drop them in the chat, and we'll be sure to answer your question. I saw one question from, yeah, I saw it. Levi, this one's for you. Like, what's going on with all of the meta front ends at the moment? Do you have any update on that?
Yeah, I think when we started the program, we as a collective were a lot more excited about like multi-chain opportunities and different distribution channels. And that was kind of why the program was inspired. And obviously, we've seen different platforms do similar stuff with Vertex Edge specifically, and also Orderly. There's also Apex, or Apollo, who does these sort of like service front end models, right? You can run your own perp decks. You have a fee kickback, and we wanted to jump into that game, but I think it was a little premature in terms of where our platform was. And our constraint wasn't so much the distribution or the reach, but more so like core functionality and user retention. So we've taken we've sort of paused that program, or at least like pushing it really hard so we can work on all of these things. But I do see in the near future, as we get to that, top tier UX and UX parity with competitors level, that we'll be pushing it a lot harder. And I think we'll also be able to attract a lot bigger partners to host our front end at that point in time as well.
Awesome. I mean, ooh, this is amazing. So now our global UI is 213 million. I think that definitely should put us in the top 5, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I will be posting later an updated list, but it is there. Yeah, I think actually top 3.
Top 3.
If it would be used, right? Yeah, if it would be used, yes. yeah, I think we still didn't have a breakthrough in name perps on chain, right? The liquidity is still centralized on the main exchanges, right? I often, when I talk about it, you can, the best example you can give for this is that Deribit is actually still beating Binance, right? In liquidity on options. Meanwhile, Deribit is actually totally unknown exchange, kind of, but they're bigger in options liquidity just because derivatives are always like super centralized. Where the most liquidity is, it stays there for a long time, and it's really actually hard to compete. I think the only way how we can do it is if we're able to list everything, right? That's how you can gather all the mind share. That's how I was trading on Ether Delta because I missed an ICO and it was the only place to trade it. That's how I came to Binance because it was the only place to trade a coin that I wanted or had. And I think now in the new era where there's how many coins launched on Pump Fund?
Yeah, hopefully.
5,000 a day, right?
Yeah, it's insane.
The time of centralized exchanges is over in that sense, right? But there has been no perp deck who could take the spot because creating a market for a perp on a $50,000 meme coin is hard. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get there in the future.
Excited for yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Q1 we will have it, right? Q1, all those meme coins that contact you, you just push them into the direction of the new solver.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can still have it while the Olympics is going on.
Okay, I will let you know about that. Let's
Perfect.
you have February, right?
It's, I think we end January 20th.
Okay.
Perfect.
Good.
Is there any other questions from the community here? I see that we have our #1 Trading Olympics placeholder now here with us. Manuka.
We should get Discord roles for the Olympics winners. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that's also coming with the Olympics is the new updated trade share cards. We've essentially rebranded everything so everybody can flex their trades in Olympic style, which should be cool. Lafa, I think this is another question for you. Are our order books off chain as well? If so, how do you guarantee no manipulation of order books?
I mean, there could be a solver that is running like a virtual order book, but in a sense, there is no order books off chain, right? All solvers stream their codes, and obviously there could be a dev to it, right? Like an order book, but in reality, there's not an order book in the sense of how we trade it on Binance. So the way how we prevent manipulation on the order book is very simple. First of all, you request the price, right? So because you decide what price you're gonna request, there can't be any manipulation, right? Also, your trades are not in an order book where you gotta close them against the liquidity that is. There is also the option to close on an Oracle price, right? So that's the way how we decentralize. You have the solver that decides his price, right? But you also have a neutral third party, Oracle, or how it's in the white paper is called arbiter, right? And this neutral third party ensures that the solver cannot just choose any price. And that's how manipulation is circumvented. And then obviously there's multiple solvers that all have their own price, right? So if you open a new trade, you can just look which solver has the best price, and then you're trading again with that solver. When you're closing, there's always the Oracle. And in a future version, future sim version 1.0 or something, we want to also have, when you close, you could also close it with multiple solvers, basically an open market. And then there's no chance to manipulation. imagine it would be like you're trading on Binance, but there's like 5 order books you could choose from to trade, right? And all are operated by a separate party. That is more how you could describe SIM in a sense with order books. And also you always have the chance to close on a market price that was given by a neutral party that is not involved in all of the trading at all, right? So yeah. Hope they answered the question. Can give. We have a lot of those type of questions, very interesting. Yeah, if you have more, let me know.
Yeah, I love that, you know, most people actually do like the technical side of things. Awesome. If there's any other questions, feel free to drop them or obviously request to join on stage. We don't have new type trader here. Normally he always jumps on. Must be a little bit too early. I think he's in the US. Otherwise, if there's no other questions, then I don't know if Levi or Lafa have any final thoughts or things they would like to share. And otherwise, it's back to trading and trying to beat Manuka.
Well, I just want to say, I think Sim is, Lafa mentioned it. The design choices taken have led in a little bit more pain up front, but the rewards to come are really infinite. And I think that accelerates. So like we're at the very end of like our current development cycle. And after this is done, we can actually focus then on the product side or like product offering. And like Lafa said, to start listing new assets, from different solvers, I think accelerates exponentially. And the effort it took to get us from, day one to here versus where we're going to be in a year, it's going to be very, very different. So I'm very excited for the next year to come. I think we'll really have an unmatched DEX, and we're going to work really hard on user acquisition side to show it off.
Awesome.
Great. Yeah. I'm super interested in giving like something or someone like infinite possibilities, and I think that's what Sim really wanted to achieve as a protocol. And now we have a good base, mostly thanks to you and your team, Levi. And I think that's from where we start. For most other protocols, that's the ceiling, right? For us, that's really starting point.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Awesome.
It was a great
Good.
town hall.
Yeah.
Would be excited to get invited again next trading competition or something.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll do the next town hall after after P&L percent is finished and when we're getting started with P&L value.
Man, markets are volatile right now.
Yeah, Bitcoin just pushed
it must
70K.
And then dropped. It will be crazy tonight, I think.
Yeah, this
like
is
the way how both parties push the election, right? As soon as the counting begins, I think we will have absolute doomsday.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be trading. I mean, this is the time to beat Manuka if you really know which direction it's gonna go. But it's gonna be very volatile, which is good for P&L percent or absolutely wipes you out and unable to come back. We'll see what happens. I think tomorrow we'll see a lot of changes in the leaderboard.
We'll just make a new account, right?
Yeah.
Manuka will just make a new account.
if you want stability, trade the ETH BTC chart. It's unchanging. No matter what happens.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Jens,
Well,
for hopping
thanks
on.
everyone.
And thanks everyone for joining. We'll be posting the town hall later today, hopefully, on YouTube as well for those who missed it. Obviously, you guys didn't miss it, but appreciate everybody for the support and for participating in the Olympics as well. I see a lot of people here who I've also seen on the leaderboard, so keep it up and try to not get wiped out.
Great, guys. See you. Thank you very much.
Great.
Bye bye.
See you.
Bye bye.